can still attach one of those to a Zoroark, but it really limits the amount of Ends PP up that you can utilize throughout this first game. And here we go. Masters Top Cut finally starting things off. So it does look like Liam Halliburton will go first in this matchup. Pheasantipity EX in the active spot. Buddy Poffin to search out those Enzora.
Well, you know, Jeremy, you wanted a different hand and different prizes going into this one, and I think Liam is extremely happy. I believe he does have a second Buddy Poffin to go along with this one as we're seeing the opening deck search. And, you know, and Zoroark at this point, right? We've seen this deck come out in Journey Together, and I feel like ever since it has kind of came into fruition, at first it was kind of this draw supporter deck, right? Everybody has trade back, we can all rejoice and celebrate, but it didn't really have great attackers to kind of copy off of, right? It felt like Ends Darmanitan was just kind of throwing energy away, so you would see tool cards like Power Glass, for example, to try and replenish some of that energy back. But then this deck has truly evolved into what we're seeing now with Ascended Heroes, bringing in Zekrom and finally being able to hit those super high numbers thanks to Petron and that Binding Mochi, and even supporter cards like Black Belt's Training.
Well, I got one thing for you. There is no Petron or Binding Mochi in this list for Liam. His whole Zoroark camp has foregone that for the Elgium and that Nighttime Mind combo. Now, pretty good start for Liam, that double Buddy Poffin. Getting down, more importantly, that Toadschool as well to hopefully evolve into the Toadschool next turn. Joshua has that Arven to find that technical machine evolution, which was in the prize cards before. Now it's not, and might be able to get some Gholdengo EXs out pretty quickly.
Yeah, Gholdengo is one of these decks that has really also kind of went through a lot of evolutions over its time in the format. We will be sadly losing it in just a month or two, but we've seen this deck played with aspects like Energy Search Pro at one point.
Shout out to the GOAT.
Yeah, it's true. I can't remember the last time we've seen that card. But even before that, you were seeing it with cards many formats ago like Worker and Pokestyle. You would just want to draw cards, and the concept of being able to draw cards is exactly what Joshua wants to see here. And thanks to the new engine in this deck, the Lunar Cycle engine from Mega Evolution, Zoroark and Lunatone, you're even able to see 3 more cards and have a great single prize attacker for this early game like the Zoroark to help you out.
No secret box found off this Arven, but just the Buddy Poffin along with that technical machine evolution. And finally, after not really seeing it in much of the last stream game against Zoroark, Joshua finds that Baniri. I guess that was due to the fact that Megalopony was always in the prize cards.
Interesting pull here from Joshua. Like you said, I also am totally okay with something like the technical machine evolution here, just getting into the Gholdengos and ready to go here. But it's so unfortunate that we're not going to see, oh, okay, we're actually going to go straight into Lopunny here.
Evolution being able to bring out both of those Pokemon on turn 1, but it ends your turn. Now Liam has the third Buddy Poffin. Maybe finding something like that Tatsugiri to be able to attract customers and find some supporters throughout this game. The 4th Zoro is in the prize cards.
Still gives Liam an opportunity to search the deck as well. We see the Lily's Determination on top of that too. 8 fresh cards and even just one Zoroark at this point, Jeremy. We are going to start sifting all of these dark energies into the discard so we can enable Ends PP up, but also, as you could tell from Liam, instantly putting down the Toadschool in the first turn, that he wants to just turn off all resources for Joshua this early.
It's also kind of good, I guess, starting that Pheasantipity EX, just because of that, Joshua wasn't able to take a quick turn 1 knockout with something like that Zoroark and its Cosmic Beam. No Lunatone really gone for, and Liam kind of dodged a quick KO early. There is the 8 cards, finds that Tatsugiri, and it does look like it's getting traded away. Want to save that bench spot for an actual attacker like that Zekrom.
Well, thankfully for Liam, also found an energy as well to get the Pheasantipity out of the active too. Megalopony has that that first attack. It is that Gale Thrust. While it does 60 damage base, if it moves into the active spot on during the turn, it does 170 more. So not exactly what you want to keep right there into the active here. So just going to attach retreat, back on over to Joshua.
Does get a Dark Energy in the discard for Ends PP up the following turn, but not really any kind of urgency in getting on the offensive just yet. Joshua has Earthen Vessels, eyeing down, discarding a Gimmighoul here. Now there is 4 Gimmighoul in the list, but only 3 Gholdengo EX. Definitely running this list a little bit of close to the chest where you prize some Gholdengo. Things could happen very badly, but it's working out so far for Joshua.
Yeah, 1 Gholdengo in the prizes along with the Pheasantipity EX as well. Seeing the Fighting Gong in the prizes and the Nest Ball, not too crazy here, but it's all about conserving what you have, especially knowing that Liam has already set up the trap for Joshua to kind of walk into. The moment that Joshua starts using Make It Rain, that's when Toadschool is going to come down. So honestly, for Joshua, it might not even be worth it just yet to try and hit into these Zoroarks. Joshua just has to find a way to get that Toadschool out of play.
Lunatone, Boss's Orders, Cosmic Beam. That sounds pretty good to me.
Ooh.
But Boss's Orders, the Pheasantipity. We're going to take the knockout with Mega Lopunny EX. Joshua looking to get ahead early here. 2 prize cards with that Gale Thrust.
Really important turn for Joshua, especially getting ahead of the game. And if Liam wants to respond by getting a sweet 3 prizes here on this Mega Lopunny, there's no Pecharunt EX and no Biting Mochi like you had talked about, Jeremy. So we're going to have to potentially 2-tap it here. Finds the end Zekrom, but still can maneuver way through. Has tons of cards, but the Night Stretcher for Pheasantipity. Let's start drawing some cards.
I love drawing cards. I love watching people draw cards. Liam's going to at least have 5 extra cards available to him. But he's going to start things off with the Lily's Determination first.
Yeah, if we do the math here, right, Lily's Determination, because Liam still has to take all 6 prizes, that is 8 cards that he is going to get off of this Lily's Determination, plus 3 from Pheasantipity, and if we start trading in that moment, then there's 2 more, and I mean, that's just what the Zoroark that is currently available to us is doing, right? Then you can evolve a couple of more, but my only thing that I'm kind of considering right now, Jeremy, is that there's no energy attached to the board here. We got to start seeing some ends PP up, we have to start seeing the attachment return.
And that's just due to the fact that there is 3 in the prize cards, only 8 in the list. And sometimes you just don't get to draw the cards you need. There is 1 Luminous Energy, ends PP up, maybe out of these next 5 cards. Another Zoroark found. That means you can spin the wheel yet again. First trade. Nothing yet. Second trade. Also eyeing down that Technical Machine Evolution, but that is another way to get out Toedscruel.
Oh.
No ends PP up, only 2 in the list. But after what was 15 cards drawn off the top, unable to find it, does have the Luminous. That's not enough. Countercatcher on the Gimme Goal. I think Liam's just going to Technical Machine this turn, get out the last Zoroark and that Toedscruel.
I think, if anything, this is Liam's best play here, right? Liam is going to be able to find the Toedscruel and keep this Gimme Ghoul in the active. There's no Genesect EX down on Joshua's side to potentially evolve here, still limiting Joshua to 1 draw off of the Gholdengo on the coin bonus on the bench. So Joshua's going to have to find something like an Air Balloon or that second Gholdengo, which I do believe he just found. And now it's going to be time to draw some cards. But once again, Joshua has to be mindful of this Toedscruel. That Slime Mold Colony is going to make this late game for him very difficult.
There is always the combination of Air Balloon and Boss's Orders, but I do not think Joshua has those cards available in hand off these 2 coin bonus. Maybe we can see a Lunatone worked in from him. Does have Secret Box in hand, actually. So that would do it completely.
The question is, Jeremy, what do you go for in this moment? The
Boss Air Balloon.
Yes. Joshua is also pretty safely ahead, so it seems like the choice really feels like, hey, the Slime Mold Colony Toedscruel is really kind of what's going to stop my late game here, because if Liam is going to establish it, it takes a whole nother turn to evolve up here, but actually pitching away a superior energy retrieval on the Secret Box, something that Gholdengo players, you know, never truly want to do here, but I really love how Joshua is prioritizing using the Mega Lopunny as much as possible to actually keep all of the energy in the deck, so when it's time for something like Earthen Vessel to come out in late game, doesn't have to use all these superior energy retrievals to get the energy back to his hand.
To be fair, he could not even target down the Toedscruel. He could go for the boss on the Pheasantipity, take the knockout yet again with Mega Lopunny EX's Gale Thrust, and then all he would need is just 1 Gholdengo knockout on Zoroark EX, which Liam essentially has to attack with Zoroark EX to really win the game. So that could be a prize map to victory. Eyeing down the last card here from Secret Box, does look like the Fighting Gong. Maybe we'll finally see Lunatone.
At this point, I'm sure Joshua's considering that Iono is probably going to be arriving soon and wants to get all of these engines set up and ready to go for when it's time for that to hit.
Cards to the hand. We know the Air Balloon will be attached to the active. Again, it is all just down to what Joshua chooses to bring up with this boss's orders.
The more I think about your line, Jeremy, I think you are more correct with the Pheasantipity play. Why not just go down to those final 2 prizes? But still, you do want to just anticipate that Iono is coming, and hence the Pheasantipity drop on Joshua's turn. So he's going to potentially unlock all of his cards here. The Air Balloon attached to the active Gholdengo. And then here comes the answer to the boss's orders. You are going to be right, Jeremy. It's that Pheasantipity to stay on your 2/2/2 prize map. Mega Lopunny heading into the active spot and using that Gale Thrust.
being able to grab 4 prizes with only having to have 1 basic energy in the discard. And not only that, he finds 2 basic energy from the prize cards as well. So if Liam does not have an Iono, things are pretty much locked up for this game 1 of our top cut.
Honestly, the way that Joshua is playing around the Toad Scroll by saying, okay, well, if you're just going to put down this Toad Scroll, I'm just going to go around it, right? And it's really unfortunate for Liam because we know that he started that Pheasantipity. You never really want to start Pheasantipity. You really just kind of want to wait until your opponent has taken a knockout because it is a liability, right? Especially it going into this deck in particular. But still has a great map to head into these final turns, but now it'll soon be up to this Iono to try and get Liam out of this really tough situation.
It seems like Liam lost his map along the way to top cut because still at 6 prizes, 1 energy in play after what seems like quite a few turns now. There is the Iono. We'll be able to disrupt Joshua's hand a little bit, but Liam still needs to find a lot out of these 6 cards. And PP up is something that will help.
Finds it right there, and also a Luminous Energy here as well.
That can't go on that Zoroark.
No, but is there a weird way that, I was about to say, maybe an LGM can come in and the slight shift the energy off onto something like the Pheasantipity and try and keep the Megalopony stuck in the active, at least for the moment. But Liam has to find a way to either gust around this Megalopony or has to find a way to hit that 330 hit points. Defiance Band helps, but not exactly everything we just need yet.
Defiance Band helps Liam KO future Gholdengo EX, but not this Megalopony in the active with 330 HP. It really does seem like Liam's back is against the wall this game. Just unable to really apply any amount of pressure, and very different from the previous stream match that we saw in this specific matchup.
Well, it seems like Liam has pieces in the hand to get it done. I do believe there was the ends PP up that was drawn and also the counter catcher. But the thing is, that only gets us so far. And because Liam is still at 6 prizes, Joshua's only at 2. Even if you take care of 1 threat on the bench being this, you can take care of the Megalopony, you can take care of one of the Gholdengos, but the Pheasantipity and the Lunar Cycle engine is still already, already set up.
Liam eyeing down that counter catcher from this secret box to go along with the Iono for next turn. Interestingly enough, having to discard or choosing to discard that 0-6 Machinations, which is for a matchup like this, but he just played Iono. There's no big hand size to discard on Joshua's side of the board. Ends PP up, finally gets 2 energy on an Ends Zoroark EX to start attacking. We could see the counter catcher now on something like that Pheasantipity to stop the 3-card draw, or even with the Defiance Band, take the knockout on that Air Balloon Gholdengo EX.
Feels like Pheasantipity is a great choice, but also, like you said, the Air Balloon Gholdengo, because you want to kind of limit how many cards that Joshua is actually going to be drawing. You draw more thanks to that Air Balloon, forcing the retreat here, but it is going to be the attached return from Zoroark. And now heading into the active here, can Joshua get enough cards with Gholdengo and enough energy to take this win in game 1?
2 cards in hand, no access to any energies in the discard, no superior energy retrievals, having to rely on cards like Fighting Gong and Earthen Vessel to really grab those energies to take the knockout, needing 7 total essentially because of the 1 metal attached and the 6 to discard.
Believe it or not, Jeremy, the draw for turn being a fighting energy was actually pretty massive there. Keeping Pheasantipity, though, a couple more draws here.
Ooh.
Nothing too crazy, though, honestly.
Nothing too crazy, nothing too good.
Yeah, I mean, it's great superior energy retrieval fodder if we had it in
Can't
the
even play it.
Exactly. We could have played it if that Toad Squirrel wasn't out and about here. There's not that much energy to truly work with, and that's the problem with this deck going up against Zoroark. The Toad Squirrel's about to be doing a ton of work, and Joshua, who feels so close, could not feel further right now from victory.
There is the option of using that 1 fighting energy in hand to Lunar Cycle, try to draw into 3 cards, try and find something, or just retreating the active. There is also Professor Turo's scenario, so that can get the Zoroark out of play, just so you can deal some damage with Megalopony. This is just not the draws for Joshua on this Iono turn.
And honestly, Joshua did such a good job this entire game of making sure that he wasn't overextending all of this energy into the discard and finding ways around the map, like using the Megalopony. But unfortunately, the Megalopony is not going to be able to hit high enough here on this end Zoroark here. So now potentially has to let this Solrock do the job, at least put in 70 damage worth, and then try and find a Gust after to use the Megalopony for the knockout here.
It does seem like that's probably the safest play. You don't want to put too much damage on that Ends Zoroark, just because Liam is playing a copy of that Ends Reshiram still, being able to use that powerful rage attack and take big knockouts if you have a ton of damage on your end's Zoroark EX.
Liam looking at Joshua's discard as well, counting the boss's orders. There are 2 in the discard, but there are 3 in the deck. We know that Joshua has 1 in hand here. I think our safest play is just using Cosmic Beam to soften up this active Zoroark and hope that Liam doesn't draw into another Iono here, but it is going to be the attach for turn.
Liam did search the Iono with the Secret Box last turn, so that should be in hand. Fighting Energy does get attached to the active, but he just retreats to the Mega Lopunny. Now, it's still not game over, even if this Mega Lopunny gets knocked out. Liam does have 4 prizes, so nothing too bad. And there is the Super Rod to shuffle back those 4 Fighting Energy into the deck to hopefully draw into him next turn.
At this point, right, it's all up to how much energy you draw. And this is what Joshua's doing, hoping that Mega Lopunny is going to be able to soften up this end Zoroark enough to find the knockout a little bit later. But like you said, Iono for sure is definitely coming here. And look at the hand as well. The hand is rather large for Joshua. Now, granted, if Zoroark's Machinations was still in the deck, we could have seen that. But still, I think Joshua is playing to his outs the best as possible, as Liam going to take a lot of damage here, but can easily get out of this pinch right now.
Gale Thrust for 230 damage on that active Zoroark EX. It's now Liam's turn to try and get at least 1 more turn out of this game 1 to try and mount this comeback. Basic Dark Energy. Finally found one.
Pretty good. I wish there was a way that we could have seen something along the lines of an Artisan for Monkey Dory to use Adrenabrain to move the damage counters back to Mega Lopunny, and then seeing something like Black Belt's training for that super high damage here. That was one line that Liam could have found, but still checking the Ionos here. Unless there wasn't one in hand. Oh no, I see one. There it is.
Liam just opting to Pal Pad beforehand, get that Iono and boss's orders shuffled back into the deck before he draws the cards off his own Iono. Still has access to 3 trade abilities as well. It really just does come down to Iono and Prey.
It seems like all of our games do at the end of the day, right? But Liam thinking about it, if he wanted to attach anything like the air balloon before here, but there is the Iono. Liam only gets 4 cards, if I remember correctly. Joshua down to 2. Finds the Reshiram as the backup attacker here.
First trade, discarding Buddy Buddy Poffin. Second trade, discards that ends Reshiram. Double Dark Energy found off of that one. Go 3 for 3, discards the Dark Energy, Boss Iono. A ton of supporters in hand, but not much else to really do anything. Just a hard retreat into that ends Zoroark EX on the bench.
The thing is about this next turn is that Joshua already has Professor Turo's scenario in hand, so Liam attempting to soften up this Lopunny is not going to be too happy when Joshua is going to be able to just cleanly take it out of play. What's also really nice, Jeremy, is that Joshua at least has the attach for turn or onto the Gholdengo, but he's got a lot of cards to kind of sift through, right?
Oh no. Double Metal Energy. It would have been a better attach return or energy in general if it was fighting that we can draw cards off Lunar Cycle.
And no knockout was taken, so it's just this 1 extra coin bonus here.
Coin bonus for the boss's orders? No, just Bravery Charm. Ooh, all right. I think Liam may have bought himself a turn here. Joshua counting the ends PP up in the discard, seeing both are gone. Remember, we started this whole match off with both players looking at each other's deck list to see what is available. Joshua knows exactly what resources Liam has, and there is just a Spiky Hopper.
Spiky Hopper for 160.
Why not? Another supporter found off the top of the deck for Liam. It seems like that's the only cards left in his deck at this point. There is the Monkey Dory Dark Energy in hand.
Can start moving the energy back here, but if Liam were to take the knockout, that's just easy callings for Joshua at that point. Even if Liam were to find something like Gust on the Gholdengo, then that actually resets the Lopunny there to go back to the bench and use Gale Thrust again. And a lot of these Zoroarks have already taken a good chunk of damage here.
Trade gets rid of the Monkey Dory. Liam doesn't find anything off the top of the deck. A lot of cards in hand, but what can he do? This is such a back and forth game one here for our top cut. Dark Energy gets attached to that Monkey Dory. Adrenabrain is now available for Liam.
It's just so scary bossing something up when you know that the Mega Lopunny is going to get that power boost coming back in on the next turn. You technically don't even have the Zoroark on the bench with any energy to go with it because 2 of them are still prized. So you're going to have to attack with a damaged Zoroark here. The only energy is the one technically on the one that's damaged in the active.
Liam does move the 30 over with that Adrenabrain. And then it uses Night Joker to copy Rampaging Thunder from that ends of Zekrom to take the knockout. It is now up to Joshua to find everything needed to take the knockout. Wow, what a hand. Metal Energy off the top of the deck, double fighting energy, draws 2 cards of coin bonus, finds the energies, and just like that, Joshua is able to take game 1 here in our top cut. Thanks to that Iono and a coin bonus.
Can we talk about how most decks in format would be very upset if they were Iono'd into multiple energies? But Joshua having the perfect amount of energies in that moment, right? Joshua smiling to the crowd.
Hamming it up over there.
You gotta, right? After that, I mean, what are the chances of that one,
Well,
Jeremy? That was massive.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at how that game went. Go ahead and take it away, Pablo.
Thank you so much, Jeremy and Emily. Very back and forth. Towards the end, those Ionos had us on the edge of our seats, and yes, I do have a seat. And I mean, we definitely had a very crucial turn here. This was a pivotal moment. In theory, Toadscruel is the perfect answer to Gholdengo, right? Stop those energies from getting recovered back into the hand. The easy pickings, we have the boss orders, but overall, Joshua had been very cost effective with that Mega Lopunny. Mega Lopunny was just putting in all the work, doing massive damage with a single energy, and with every other energy available, I think Joshua made the perfect call in taking down the Vesandipity, putting himself down to 2 prizes, and then it's like, okay, you have to attack me with Zoroark at any moment, right? So all I need to do is just be patient. You don't do enough damage. Even if I attack into you, you guys mentioned that, sure, maybe the rage attack from Reshiram is a threat, but if Mega Lopunny goes down, that's completely fine. Liam still has 1 prize card left, so Joshua not being afraid to attack into the Zoroark, going after the Vesandipity, being like, I don't care if you have the counter, he managed his resources perfectly, and that's what ultimately allowed him to just be patient and walk away the winner from this match.
Well, even from the game.
Yeah, from this game, pardon.
Even just the end of this turn where there was the 3 fighting energy in the discard, and Joshua used that Super Rod to shuffle those into the deck just because he knew he was going to need energy to finish the game. Thank you again for that breakdown, Pablo. So great to see, and now we are going into game 2. Does look like Liam is having a mulligan here.
I think for Liam coming up next, it's just the fact that he doesn't want to start Fez. Definitely not what you want to start with. I like how Joshua was playing so aggressively there, but now it's kind of crunch time for Liam. He knows exactly what he's looking out for now, and that being the Mega Lopunny there. See how exactly it's going to all pan out here. Liam on the back foot here. So we're heading on into game number 2. Joshua forced to go first, but gets an extra card for the mulligan here. Can he set up once again?
Gimme Ghoul in the active spot. There is that Baniri in the hand, but Joshua finding that Genesect EX, which we haven't really seen that much from him at all, being able to find 2 Gholdengo EX. And look at those prize cards. The one of Super Rod that came in clutch last game, one of Bravery Charm, but that secret box, the most important of all, just hiding out in the prize cards.
Has to be very cautious as well. The air balloon also being prized, especially now that we all know Joshua's game plan of moving Mega Lopunny in and out of the active here. Kind of limits how much you're really drawing with Gholdengo. And now Genesect DX has kind of been known for in the past as being a little bit of a liability. Kind of sits there as a 2-prizer. It's never really, if you're attacking with Protect Charge, something has to be going very horribly wrong. So I do believe Joshua does have the Professor Tarots in hand for next turn, potentially get that out of play, but just has to stay a little cautious here because honestly, I'm not seeing another Gimme Ghoul.
Yeah, no other basic search other than Fighting Gong, I believe, and he might be saving that for the energy for something like that Mega Lopunny. And wow, was that Buddy Buddy Puffin off the top of the deck? Either way, starting off great with that powerful item card.
Yeah, nothing's better for Liam than finding all of your surge right then and there, right? Having a Zorua already inside of the hand and also having the Buddy Buddy Puffin as well here. But looking at Liam's prize cards, yeah, 1 Buddy Buddy Puffin in there, not too great, but another 2 copies of this dark energy that Liam was desperately trying to find last turn, but as you once again saw from the first game, that Toadscruel immediately coming down.
And not too bad of a start here for Liam. Having the Iono instead of the Lilies is a little bit worse, but you got to work with what you got to work with. And taking a look at the 6 cards from Joshua there real quick. Not too bad. Arvin for the turn, but no secret box available to him. That might come into play.
Looking back over into Liam's hand post Iono, finds another Buddy Poffin as well. So the setup just keeps coming and coming if you're Liam at this point. Tons of deck search, but also this Tatsugiri to allow for Liam to attract customers, find some more draw supporters. It's going to be key for Liam to keep hitting Joshua with this Iono turn after turn, especially once that Toad Scroll comes into play.
It's definitely rough because there's only 2 in the list. There is the Pal Pad, though, to be able to shuffle those back in later on in the game. But Iono is definitely a little bit lackluster because it's also in the prize cards. So
well, that's
there is no more Iono for Liam until he starts taking knockouts or finds that Pal Pad.
Back on over to Joshua here. Just a couple of energies, does have the Arvid, can also use Metallic Signal to get a lot of these Gholdengos out of the deck for himself as well, but already has one in hand, which is pretty good. Honestly, I would love to see Joshua get a little bit more setup on this turn. I know he has Arvid in hand, so he would be able to go find some more options here, but believe it or not, Joshua only plays 1 copy of this Buddy Poffin. I feel like as we've seen decks come to more like solid in their performance, we've seen less and less consistency cards like Buddy Poffin.
Yeah, it was all throughout the European circuit with Gholdengo winning and topping multiple regional and special championship events in a row, where it was kind of the debate of 3 or 1 Buddy Poffin. A lot of the lists were playing Prime Catcher when they were playing heavier counts of Buddy Poffin. But I think it is now the de facto best A-spec in Secret Box that allows you to kind of be a little bit greedy and play just a single copy of Buddy Poffin. And we're seeing it here work out wonderfully with this Arvin and the Technical Machine evolution. There's going to be a lot more Gholdengo in play. That's also another reason to not search him out.
Yeah, super fair. But also, this is exactly what you want to see if you are Joshua as well, going straight into the Mega Lopunny once again and the Gholdengo onto the bench. And I feel like now, Jeremy, compared to game number 1, I'm seeing both players a little bit more set up with their draw engines, which allows for both of them to sift through their decks a little bit more.
Well, talking a little too soon, we didn't see any Zoroark on Liam's side of the board, but 1 hits the board. There is the trade, but that looks like it's going to be it. This hand is not going to do it. Does he have to Turo the Zekrom just to Tatsugiri a supporter out of the deck that might be able to do something better? No supporter in the top 6 at all. Attract customers is not attracting anything right now.
And that's going to give Joshua some time to start using Mega Lopunny and getting into the active as well with Gale Thrust and starting to spread some damage around. Potentially that first target could be the Toad School. We know that Joshua can absolutely play around it here, but huge miss for Liam.
Honestly, with the way Liam has played this turn, maybe the target is just going to be that Tatsugiri in the active spot. Gholdengo EX found off the top of the deck for Joshua. Didn't really want to draw that as you have access to that Genesect. Starting things off with the coin bonus from the active spot. 2 cards to the hand. Turo Fighting Energy found. No Lunatone or Solrock in play, but plenty of other draw in those extra coin bonus.
Speaking of coin bonus, just 1 more. Finds the last Gimme Ghoul. But it feels like the world is in Joshua's kind of hand right now, quite literally. Has enough energy to not even need to Earthen Vessel here. In terms of supporter, I do believe the Professor Turo's scenario's there, but Joshua instantly moving up the boss's orders to the top of the hand. I can't imagine that he wouldn't use it. I don't know if he can swing big enough to get the Zoroark with the only energy in play out, but could potentially use the Turo to bring up the Genesect, or even use it to bring Mega Lopunny into the active right now if you pick up the Gholdengo here.
He would lose the metal energy, but I think that is a sacrifice he is willing to take. There is that Gholdengo EX to the hand. Gimme Ghoul gets benched right away. Mega Lopunny EX to the active spot. Fighting energy attached from the hand. Takes the knockout on that Tatsugiri. Now Liam is just on a trade and pray turn here. Big 2 cards. Lily's Determination found. We now have a game here, folks.
Finds the Artisan as well, and going to be using the Lily's Determination here. Liam also finding the Dark Energy as well, so there can be an attack this turn. Just depends on how exactly he wants to play everything out. Throws away the En's Reshiram into the discard pile, but of course En's Zekrom is where you want to be attacking. The real question for Liam is, how do we get around this big Mega Lopunny in the active?
You don't. Looking at the list, there's 2 counter catchers, so I guess that is a way to get around it. 8 cards for this Lily's Determination.
Where are the Zoroarks, Jeremy?
Not in the hand.
That's
not in the prizes.
That's not good.
Somewhere in the deck.
Hopefully within these 3 cards in Pheasantipity. Otherwise, you know Joshua's just going to be targeting down that Pheasantipity next turn.
Especially if Liam wants to keep up in the prize race, he needs to find a counter catcher. 3 cards from Flip the Script. Awaiting Liam after the shuffle from Joshua. No counter catcher at all. Liam does have that Toad Scroll, able to keep that Toad Scroll from getting knocked out early game. Now gets to evolve it, but Joshua has played around it pretty perfectly this match so far.
Only makes the most amount of sense as well, but going to be copying Rampaging Thunder for a good 250 damage here.
It's a lot of damage, but it's not enough.
No, definitely not, especially these big mega Pokemon are really kind of just stuck in your way here. But has to be very careful, Joshua, at this point, because that Toad Scroll is ready to go, so has to navigate around it. Now, granted, Joshua isn't playing any copies of, for example, Jet Energy to move something else into the active in order for Mega Lopunny to be reset this turn, so isn't necessarily going to be attacking with it, but could start to get a little bit aggressive with going into the Gholdengo, even though the Toad Scroll's set up.
There is always just boss's orders, attach a second energy to the active, Spiky Hopper, take the knockout. Does seem like that's what Joshua's plan is for this turn. It gets rid of the Toad Scroll threat, at least for one turn, unless Liam wants to take a turn off and use that Technical Machine Evolution to get it back again after a Super Rod.
Here's the big scary thing, Jeremy. Well, yes, Joshua's removing that threat off the board. Here comes Liam staring in the face of big Mega Lopunny that's already taken a ton of damage, right? That's going to be a big 3-prize kind of reward for Liam here. And especially now, Pheasantipity is going to be online. Hopefully the draws this turn for Liam will be better. Already has End's PP up and a Dark Energy in hand, so could just start doing the good trade aways here. But you see the Super Rod instantly for the Toad Scroll line. Artisan going to bring back that Toad Scroll right to the bench.
Yeah, Liam opted not to even grab anything else off that Super Rod that ends Reshiram. Not looking too good, just going with that end Zekrom the entire way. One thing the boss's orders from Joshua also did last turn was reset Liam's end Zoroark EX so it can attack again, which is also another pretty crucial part, just because with Liam not playing Petrant EX, is really relying on air balloons to kind of maneuver around.
And one of the air balloons was prized last game, but still does have access to both in this game. And has one already in hand here. So I do believe we are going to commence the trade, if you will, right after drawing 3 with Pheasantipity. Wants to find another End's PP up. Oh my goodness, who needs Cyrano when you have the End Zoroark already drawn into hand? Also finds the counter catcher as well for a little bit later too. But look at Liam, this is the explosiveness power of End Zoroark. You're automatically going to just start to be able to draw and unlock your entire deck here, even throwing away the Lily's Determination here.
This is the kind of firepower that Liam has been wanting from his deck. Now, is it a little too late? We'll have to find out. Liam does have the knockout here for 3 prizes, but again, he just wants to kind of mitigate any damage potential that might come out. Secret Box discards 3 cards that aren't really going to do much. Eyes down that Technical Machine Evolution, Nighttime Mind, Buddy Buddy Poffin, and that Zoroark's Machinations. I don't believe Liam's played a supporter this turn either. There is the Zoroark. Such a powerful supporter against a deck like Gholdengo, having a full hand of cards from drawing turn after turn, discarding Superior Energy Retrieval, Fighting Energy, Fighting Gong, Fighting Energy, Countercatcher, Gholdengo, Gimme Ghoul, the Iono. A lot of resources just hit the discard for Joshua thanks to that powerful supporter.
Yeah, the Iono and the Superior Energy Retrieval all going down here, right? So Liam now has free roam to really kind of reset up all of these attackers here. He knows that he's going to be getting 3 prizes this turn, but ensuring that he's safe from, well, I guess the hand disrupt option that Joshua had in hand is now already gone because he chose to get rid of it with Zoroark. But now it's determining how he wants to finish the end game on what his map is going to be. Gholdengo could be swinging, but also, once again, there's that liability of Genesect EX on the bench that Liam could go after.
If Joshua hits everything off the top of the deck that he needs, then it could be just a simple 2-prize knockout, 2-prize knockout. And Liam needs to take at least 2 more turns because of the prize mapping here. Bumping his own Artisan, just not giving any access to Lunatone for Joshua.
I think the real question I have, Jeremy, is what is going to come next? Okay, interesting here from Liam. So just going to shortcut around the 3-prize Pokemon here and reminding Joshua that this Genesect EX is, or could be the, wow, okay, just opting to go for the Technical Machine Evolution instead, stopping all recovery options for Joshua next turn. But my goodness, I mean, we talked about it before. There's 1 air balloon in the prizes for Joshua. Where's the other?
Yeah, it is not looking good. Does look like it's in the deck still, but with the hand being disrupted from that Zoroark, not really many chances to draw cards. First coin bonus for 1. Pheasantipity X, that's not going to do it. All right, next one. Is there an air balloon or an out to it? Wow. Arvin off the top of the last coin bonus. That will allow Joshua to find the only air balloon left in the deck.
Still, though, I mean, there's no secret box for Joshua just yet. Has to find a way to get some prize cards going here. But it is going to be the Arvin for turn. And
that's all he has.
Yeah, I mean, true. But honestly, Big Bad Toad Squirrel is back for Joshua, right? This is exactly what you don't want to see. Not only did Liam last turn thin your hand so much down where you've had to pitch vital resources like the Superior Energy Retrieval, but also now use the turn to trap your Genesect into the active, at least until, you know, that top or the draw for Arvin here. But now has to be extremely careful around how much energy you're putting away.
And I do like the taking the turn off from Liam just to establish that Toad Squirrel yet again. It really doesn't change the prize mapping too much if Joshua decides to something like Boss's Orders it again and take the knockout with the Mega Lopunny that's still available, just because of the way these prizes have been taken. There is the retreat for Joshua thanks to that air balloon, and Gale Thrust, the active Zoroark EX, 230 damage yet again.
Now, if it came all the way down to it, Jeremy, if Liam were to find another bench space eventually, Liam could find a way to protect this Zoroark because he has another one already set up onto the bench, re-establish the End's Reshiram, and use powerful Rage as well. So Liam does have a secondary attacker here. While Zekrom is going to be doing a ton of work, this is why End's Reshiram could potentially still be in the list for Liam.
Well, it is in the discard, so Liam would have to find
Night Stretcher, which he has in hand, I believe.
Oh, okay, cool. I was looking at how many were in the deck. 2 copies of Night Stretcher in the deck. I do believe none are in the discard, so having it in hand is pretty good, but shuffling back that Professor Turo's scenario, along with the Iono, the only copy available to Liam, actually. Second trade. Black Belt's training method, not going to do too much right now. Defiance Band and that Iono.
Defiance Band is live here, but I'm wondering if Liam wants to go into Conservation Iono mode. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, there's only 2 Iono in the deck, and 1 is in the prizes, so would have to reestablish the only one with Palpad. But like I was talking about a little bit earlier, has to go into conservation mode because this End Zoroark is heavily damaged here. But thanks to End's PP up, does have the ability to reestablish some of these cards as well.
Especially after the retreat, just kind of trying to keep it on the bench as close as possible. There is that Knight Joker copying that ends Zekrom Rampaging Thunder for the KO on that Mega Lopunny. 3 prizes for Liam, finds the second Iono to go along with the one in hand. Joshua now has a bunch of cards in hand, has that Earthen Vessel found last turn along with a couple fighting energy. Genesect is able to maneuver out of the way with that air balloon from last turn. But he's going to start things off with just a coin bonus for 1. Finds a Lunatone. But discarding energy isn't where he really wants to be right now.
And Toad Squirrel doing a ton of work here, so gonna have to put Gholdengo back into the active to draw a couple of more cards here. Just has to be so careful, right? There's, from what I can count, just looking at the discard pile, I believe that is 4 energy and 4 fighting energy and 1 metal energy for Joshua there. So doesn't have too much left to work with without using something like item card to get it all out.
Yeah, he has Super Rod in hand along with the Earthen Vessel. And I think with the metal drawn off that second coin bonus. Oh, does have Pheasantipity, Earthen Vessel, energy.
It's pretty good.
Energy,
Hey, oh
I think
goodness.
that's as much as you can ask for.
That was pretty good. That's exactly what you need here, right? I mean, you can maneuver around the Toad Squirrel here, but the problem is the Toad Squirrel is still going to be active after you pitch away 300 damage worth of energy away. That's a lot of energy that you're not going to get back. Like you talked about, there are ways to get the energy back into the deck, like that Super Rod here.
At this point in the game, it is all about resource management for both players. Of course, Joshua can take the big knockout, but if he does, that's all the energy gone. Here is the Super Rod. We'll be able to shuffle back in a metal and 2 fighting, maybe even just the 1/1 Mega Lopunny EX and an energy, hoping to rely on Gale Thrust again later on.
I like what Joshua's doing right now, kind of this like risk assessment, right? If I do this, how much gust do you have left to work with? When I'm looking at the counts in terms of the counter catchers, there are 2 counter catchers in the deck. And from what I'm seeing, Liam has played 1 so far, and then including Boss's Orders as well. So Not quite sure if Joshua wants to commit all the way. It seems like the only thing he can do, though, is go for this Super Rod and then use Earthen Vessel to get some of this energy back out, but it is very committal here.
And Joshua still has not used his supporter for the turn. Could be something like a boss's orders. Again, though, if you're eyeing down taking a knockout on Toad Scroll, that's not really where you want to be. There is the second discard of Superior Energy Retrieval in this game so far. Earthen Vessel finding a couple more energies, maybe even some of the ones shuffled back in.
Just feels so bad to see Gholdengo players have to get rid of their Superior Energy Retrievals. It's something that when you learn this tech, people tell you, you can't throw this away on an Ultra Ball. You can't throw this away on an Earthen Vessel. But Joshua's done an amazing job of navigating around it so far. And the question is, okay, sure, take this active, but after that, what then?
I don't know. If there is access to a boss's orders, I kind of like bringing up the damaged one. You don't have to discard as many energies to still take the knockout and then try to set yourself up for success on the following turn, closing it out with one more 2-prize KO. But no, it does look like the full suite of 6 energies from Joshua's hand, making it rain on Liam's Zoroark EX, taking the knockout, going down to 2 prize cards remaining here in Top Cut.
The anticipation, that was probably like the slowest make it rain I've ever seen. Joshua really kind of evaluating all the options that he really has available to him before committing here. Now,
the clouds were slowly rolling in.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. Here's the thing though, Jeremy, I think we had alluded to it just a little bit earlier, right? That damaged Zoroark on the bench, that is a big, big liability here. Draws the Professor Turos, but the thing is you want to be able to...
I mean, that's what he was looking for last turn. So finding it now, a card off, is still pretty great. Healing that Zoroark, that liability in play.
Now not going to be in the threat of boss's orders here. Doesn't even have to, I mean, absolutely can replenish with a Zorua, but you have technically all you need for your end game, right? All you needed was one Zoroark, and you don't even need to trade at that moment. You have everything you needed to, especially with the Defiance Band amplifying the knockout here, but it's going to be up to Joshua, who just drew his secret box. Can he find his way around Toad Scroll?
It does not look like it. The one of copy of Super Rod has already been used, and it does look like Joshua is scooping it up. This game 2, we're going to see a game 3 between these 2 world-class players.
This was really, really close. Liam was able to bring it all the way back. Like you had talked about, having a damaged Zoroark there could have been an easy route for Joshua to just find boss's orders, but that Toad Scroll coming into play, and even Zoroark's machinations coming into the mix as well. We were saying it a little bit earlier, this deck feels like it has so many answers to Gholdengo.
You got to try. I mean, right?
You always got to try.
This matchup has historically been terrible for the Ends Zoroark, but the combination of that Ends Zekrom along with all these tech cards has really helped Liam push through. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay for this game 2. It started off not that great for Liam. Attracted customers did not find anything. Joshua started out again with that Mega Lopunny EX, being able to Gale Thrust for a couple of prizes, takes the knockout on that Toad Scroll with the Spiky Hopper, but this was really the turn that changed everything. Liam was able to Zoroark Machinations and Technical Machine Evolution bring out that Toad Scroll, able to get that lock again, forces Joshua to use the resources, take the knockout, but the combination of Iono and then that Professor Turos scenario, picking up that damaged Zoroark, left no out for Joshua to win that game.
Now as we head into game number 3 here, Joshua's going to be able to choose whether to go first or second, but not after resolving a couple of mulligans here. And I'm so interested to see, because like you were saying a little bit earlier, these are 2 world-class players. Joshua being the only Gholdengo we have really kind of seen this tournament, period, point blank. And also kind of the only Gholdengo when we were walking around the tables, really kind of seeing all the way at the top. So Joshua really taking this deck that he's committed to for the past couple months, taking it all the way to a top cut here at Houston. But of course, you're going up against Liam Halliburton, who has been piloting this Ends Zoroark this entire season through thick and thin, and finally finding the necessary attacker of Zekrom to get it done.
Does look like our players are conversing with the table judges, but now after the mulligan, both players seem to be set up. Importantly enough, in Top Cut, we have increased time limits for our matches. 75 minutes. That means for this game 3, we got 28 minutes to go, and plenty of time for one of these players to make it into top 8.
Liam automatically starting with the Buddy Buddy Poffin, exactly what you want to see here, going into this first deck search to see all the resources that he has available. Now, if we take a look at the prize cards, Jeremy, why is it always just 2? 2 Dark Energy in all 3 games. The Pheasantipity being down definitely hurts, but the thing is, there's only now 1 copy of Professor Turos scenario and 1 Iono available to him for the time being. So Liam's got to be a little bit careful. Why is it always 2 Dark Energy, though?
Why is it always the Iono? It's
true.
definitely been an uphill battle for Liam with these prizes all 3 games. But starting off pretty stellar here again with 3 Zoroark and the Toad School in play. Has that ends Zekrom in the active spot.
Did you also see that Liam just has the 2 Zoroark in hand already ready to go?
Wow.
But speaking of Buddy Buddy Poffin on one side, here comes Buddy Buddy Poffin on the other side. And this, once again, is a one-of in this deck. And Joshua finding one of the ultimate consistency cards. Well, if you want to talk about 2 Dark Energy, talking about 3 Fighting Energy in the discard. Now, granted, normally, like we've been alluding to this entire match, we would be all a little bit more concerned if we saw a Superior Energy Retrieval in the discard, or in the prizes, excuse me. But it's really mostly about the Mega Lopunny show now.
Yeah, it's fine. Still in the deck. You got at least 1 energy to attack with it. Energy from the hand to the active, but no supporter for Joshua this turn 1. Would have loved to see an Arven for that technical machine evolution yet again, and now it is Liam's time to shine. Double Zoroark in hand, Arven to go along with it, but discards it for the trade, finds Iono. Second trade, discards that Buddy Buddy Poffin. No Lily's Determination, might be forced to use this Iono here.
And it's so unfortunate because you know that Liam wants to instantly get into this Toad Scroll as quickly as possible. So instead, going to go for the hand disrupt here.
I don't even know if you want to. Joshua's turn was so bad. Ionoing your opponent when they did nothing is not a winning play. Oh, wow, but Joshua has that Mega Lopunny EX energy and a boss's orders in hand if he wants to. Already has the energy on the active to retreat.
What I'm considering, Jeremy, is that it feels kind of like, oh, we should boss's orders here, but this and Zekrom is the only attacker that Liam can copy right now. Not necessarily the worst thing to be taking just this attacker out of play right now.
Yeah, Toad Scroll isn't really going to do too much to you, especially if you're attacking with that Mega Lopunny EX. Liam now trying to find some useful supporters yet again. Trade 1, trade 2. Finds the secret box off the last trade here.
But where is the energy, Jeremy?
In the deck and prizes.
Just, I feel like I haven't seen Liam draw into these dark energies at all. And while, yes, finding the ends PP up is exactly what you want to see, you have to be able to accelerate it from the discard here. So going to use Night Stretcher and get back the attacker here, but we can't attack without energy.
And this is actually perfect for Joshua because he has access to the boss's orders in hand with just another energy. Can use Spiky Hopper to take a knockout on the end Zekrom. We are going to see the secret box discarding some valuable resources for Liam here. Ends PP up, boss's orders, and that technical machine evolution. That has been the way for Liam to find that Toad Scroll multiple times this match.
And I think this is why a couple of Zoroark decks, other than Liam, have been playing something like the Janine Secret Art for that energy acceleration. For weird situations like this where it's just, where's my energy, man? The times where you need to start attacking because you're going to be starting to kind of float behind here.
Lily's Determination, Nest Ball, Team Rocket's Watchtower, and speaking of floating, Air Balloon.
Yep, pretty good there too. No direct access to the Toad Scroll just yet, though. But like we've been saying, while it's great to have Toad Scroll out, I feel like it hasn't come into play too much. But still, we'll see what exactly we are going to see off of the Lily's Determination. That should be coming up soon, but there's the Defiance Band onto the end Zoroark. Let's see if we can find some energy and even find some ends PP up, maybe to start attacking this turn.
Well, there is only 1 ends PP up left in the deck. There's no Dark Energy in the discard. So that means Liam will need to draw essentially the perfect cards out of these 8 for Lily's Determination. It would have to be a Zoroark EX and a Dark Energy along with that ends PP up, so you can discard the Dark Energy, but then would also need to find another energy to draw into.
Well, you got
there is the ends PP up, Zoroark and basic Dark. If this last trade finds another energy, Liam can have an attack this turn.
1, 2.
No.
Just barely misses it, Jeremy.
That is so unfortunate for Liam and Zoroark fans watching at home.
Just the pass back to Joshua. What a huge whiff there. Also, my goodness, going back to Joshua's turn, he was able to grab the fighting energy off of the prizes there, and even draws into the Soul Rock to put Lunar Cycle online here. But look at this, the boss's orders already, and that is just using Gale Thrust to take out Toad School. And just as early as Joshua's turn started, it's already ended. Back over to Liam, finds the ends PP up there. We got to get attacking this turn right now, Jeremy.
Liam is starting things off, trying to do just that. Again, missed the energy last turn, still does not have it. Needing to thin as much as possible and trade into whatever, but has the Lily's Determination for 8.
Could probably use the Pheasantipity on top at this point for 3 extra more, but unfortunately it's stuck in the prizes all the way at the top too. So Liam's going to have to rely on a lot of these trades, and it just feels uncomfortable, right? You're starting to kind of watch Joshua take this lead. Joshua hasn't even put down a Gholdengo yet, realistically, right? It's really just this Mega Lopunny that's been doing all of this work.
Yeah, my Mega Lopunny deck, you know?
Yeah, true. With the draw supporter Gholdengo, which could be applied here.
Thankfully for Liam, he did find a Luminous Energy, so there will be an attack. Again, is it too late? 2 prize cards taken already for Joshua. 3rd trade for Liam. Does have the Night Stretcher for the Toad School. Get it placed on the bench. That is going to be the 2nd Night Stretcher, though. That means only access to Super Rod left.
Not exactly what you want to be seeing, but this Toad School and the Toad Scroll are so massively a part of Liam's strategy. Has to keep it going here while using so much of the resources to keep it established, but using Air Balloon to retreat, copying that Rampaging Thunder to at least get some damage on the board, because my goodness, Joshua's going to start running away with this very, very soon.
Joshua prepping the dice for the damage counters. There we go. 250 damage on the active. Back over to Joshua. Has a good grip of cards. Finally able to start using Lunar Cycle yet again, trying to find more.
Honestly, Jeremy, from what I can see on my end, I might be getting covered by the shadows a little bit. Does Joshua have a way to get some Gholdengos out right now? Has 1, but he has a coin bonus into a couple more at this point.
Yeah, that might be helpful. There is also the opportunity to do something like Professor Turo's scenario, pick up even that damaged Mega Lopunny EX in the active spot, bench Genesect EX to find more Gholdengo, but no, it does look like Joshua's just going to commit the 2nd energy to the active. Is there another boss's orders to KO something like the End Zekrom?
I'm not seeing it. I think Joshua's just going to take the 160 and take it home at this point. Say, all right, I'll keep another End Zoroark damaged here. And like we were talking about just a little bit earlier, Liam and his access to Professor Turo's scenario does play 2 within the deck, and there's not 1 prize this time around.
There is.
Oh, there is 1 prize this time around, so has to really kind of keep track of how much usage he's using out of his resources here.
Does have it in hand. And again, there is still Pal Pad available, I believe. And Zora found off the Artisan. Liam took a little bit of surveillance of what is left in his deck to be able to try and close this out. Again, staring down a prize deficit against this Mega Lopunny EX, which has been putting in a ton of work for Joshua.
Also does have the Toad Scroll in hand as well for this point here, too. Could Professor Turo, or yeah, could Turo scenario the active Zoroark in here as well, but could also keep the energy on the board.
Well, you have to remember, yeah, only energy in play is on that active Zoroark EX. And now Liam did a pretty fast play, but retreated to the End Zoroark. Professor Turo'd it back into the hand and then discarded it for trade. Pretty useful of that Artisan. And there is that Night Joker, yet again copying Rampaging Thunder for the KO. 3 prizes for Liam. Finds, yeah, Iono, Professor Turo scenario, and a Dark Energy. Not too bad, but both ends PP up are in the discard. Thankfully for Liam, he did attach a basic Dark to that Ends Zoroark EX on the bench with Defiance Band, hoping to take down a Gholdengo EX next turn.
Heading back over into Joshua's turn, though, this leaves a very damaged Zoroark into the active, where Joshua can absolutely find a way to make it rain for much less than required this turn. We know that Joshua is really banking on using this Super Rod to get the energy back into the deck because of that Slime Mold Colony Toad Squirrel sitting on the bench here. Joshua just needs to keep drawing a couple of more cards, and how you do that is thanks to Air Balloon, allowing for the second Gholdengo to go up, draw some more cards, but it's all about finding a way around everything. I don't think he has enough right now in hand, but can use Vezendipity Super Rod to keep drawing more.
Definitely an awkward scenario for Joshua. Has been trying to play around this Slime Mold Colony throughout this entire match. There is Vezendipity, finds boss's orders, Metal Energy. The Metal Energy will allow Joshua to actually use Make It Rain this turn if he wants to. Super Rod in hand to go along with something like an Arven that can find Earthen Vessel. But again, any amount of resources Joshua uses to take the KO are going to be stuck in the discard with that Toad Scroll being in play. Now, Joshua is in the prize deficit right now. Maybe we see something like that one of Counter Catcher.
It's just so risky to not replenish your deck full of energy when you know that that Toad Scroll's waiting here, right? And it's game number 3, Jeremy. And while Liam, yes, is on a very awkward 3 prizes, Joshua has to find the knockout to go down to potentially, I mean, to either go down to 2, or if he had wanted to boss, take out the Toad Scroll, then you would be at 3 prizes. Not exactly your best mapping. So I think at this point, Joshua's just trying to find a way to set up the deck for next turn, maybe after getting hit with an Iona, to redraw back into all the energies to take a knockout.
Earthen Vessel was found off of the Arven. Joshua's going to go ahead and use that, discarding that Technical Machine Evolution, finds the Fighting Energies. Still has not used Super Rod in the hand. Yeah, just let you all get reminded back at home, 2 Fighting Energies in the prize cards. This is such a close game 3. 14 minutes left to go here for our first match of our asymmetrical top cut.
Got to keep track of the fighting energies as well. So as production was showing us all, it's the 3 fighting energies in the discard currently, plus the 3 that are about to hit in the discard now. Joshua just took 1 off of the prizes, but there's still 1 left. That's all 8 technically accounted for now. So Joshua not working with too much, and especially looking at the metal energies as well. There's 2 in the discard, and the last one is already attached to the active Gholdengo.
It's definitely going to be a rough endgame for Joshua, trying to figure out these last 2 prizes. Meanwhile, Liam still needs to cobble together an attacker here. Has that 1 energy on ends Zoroark EX, but has been running low. Still has 1 in the prize cards. But there is the Pal Pad. Boss's Orders and Professor Turo's Scenario back into the deck. Liam has access to 2 trades. Thankfully for Liam, has that Defiance Band on the Zoroark on the bench. And with Joshua taking 2 prizes, it is now active to be able to do extra damage to the active Gholdengo EX and take the knockout.
I think, Jeremy, I would love to see Liam find a way to knock out this Pheasantipity this turn, but the supporter for turn being played very quickly is this Sorosix Machinations. Once again, coming onto your screen now, you have to discard, your opponent discards cards from the hand, and you're only allowed to have 3 cards left, so everything else has to go in this moment. And Jeremy, once you see what I'm seeing, that's 2 more superior energy retrievals actually now going down here for Joshua, actively choosing to get rid of them.
I mean, they don't do anything, so
it's fair.
Might as well. It's a free discard. I still like Liam going for the active knockout. It's the only time this Defiance Band is going to be available to be used. You're getting rid of the Gholdengo that has the metal energy attached. What else does Liam have to do? Not really anything. Does have the counter catcher, could be available.
It's about what you're prioritizing more in this moment, right? Would you like to...
Double counter catcher.
Yeah, take the... Oh, okay, the trade. Whoa, double the power here. Finds the black belts trading potentially for next turn, but just getting rid of the counter catchers at this point, because knowing once Liam takes the second knockout, he's going down to 1 prize.
And there is the Night Joker rampaging Thunder yet again, but this time for the 1-hit KO on Gholdengo EX. 4 cards in hand for Joshua here. Was able to keep the best 3. It seemed like Boss's Orders, Super Rod, and another card that I couldn't see. Both players take a look at each other's
right?
Discards.
Same grab at the same time, which was so funny. But still, I mean, it is now go time for Joshua. Finally, that Super Rod being played here right before he gets to start drawing all of the cards here. Needs to draw enough to hit this knockout on ends Zoroark. I believe it is 300 damage worth 280, so needs the attach for turn, Jeremy. Then needs 6 energy to go along with. But also the Super Rod taking back the Beniri here could see another line going towards seeing Megalopony again.
I think it's the only line for Joshua. If you actually count out the energies, there is that 1 in the prize cards. Super Rod would have to bring back a metal energy along with 2 fighting energies. Those would be the only energies available. So metal energy to the Gholdengo, that means only 100 damage for Make It Rain. Joshua realized this, and he went for that Megalopony EX. Putting it back in the deck, finds the Beniri with Artisan.
It is a bunny.
It is a bunny, yeah.
You're not wrong, you're not wrong.
And he's looking to hopefully kind of close things out with Megalopony EX. But again, that's going to have to 2-hit a Zoroark EX or, you know, take a knockout on the Toad Scroll. But at this point, he's discarded all of the superior energy shields except for 1.
Finds the Mega. Can't evolve just yet, though, so a couple more cards here. I believe that was the copy of counter. It finds the Watchtower just to bump the Artisan, kind of denying Liam a little bit more setup here. That's the counter catcher, right? All the gold cards are throwing me off here. Ooh, okay, I like this option too here. I mean, Zoroark is an attacker, usually used in the early game, but why not soften up the Zoroark with the energy on it now? But here comes Liam. Look how quickly he's working here. I think he's found a way can he find... Oh, okay, the Monkey Dory back the boss's orders onto the Gimme Ghoul.
30 damage with the Adrenabrain to the Baniri on the bench. Remember, the Zoroark EX cannot attack thanks to that Rampaging Thunder last turn, so Liam just passes it back. Joshua, does have the Countercatcher in hand. That's available. Boss's orders was the draw for turn. Coin bonus finds Genesect EX. That's not going to be useful. Mega Lopunny EX, though, that's pretty good. But how many energy is actually available to Joshua? Does have the boss's orders. Brings up the Toedscruel. Are we just saying pass back and forth?
Well, it's might just have to be, Jeremy. I mean, we're looking through Liam's discard. The air balloon, that would be one of the only ways to get the Toedscruel out, or Professor Turo's scenario here.
Yeah, it's in hand from the prizes that Liam has been taking. Finally unlocked it. Joshua does have Secret Box. And there is all for, oh, maybe not. It would be all for Superior Energy Retrieval being discarded this game.
And not used at all, which is wild, right? Wild. You never expect to see this in something like Gholdengo here, but item tool supporter at this point, just to check what else is in the deck. I mean, Joshua can thin out an energy using Fighting Gong, or, you know, maybe to try and Lunar Cycle a bit more, but all of his recovery at this point is 100% gone.
Yeah, has to seem like, there, yeah. Showing the counter catcher, but Liam has the Professor Turo scenario just in case anything else happened, had the extra energy, and just like that, Liam was able to close out our first top cut match here. 2-1. Had to fight hard for it, but now moving on to another top 8 for this season. What is it, the 4th top 8 at a major?
Yeah, 4th top 8, 3rd at a regional, and also, of course, top 8 European International Championships. I think the leader of the Zoroark fan club is certainly here to set his mark, but of course, you have to give your props to Joshua Frank. Once again, a very consistent player, a player that does so much coaching, so enthralled in the community, taking it all the way up to asymmetrical cut with Gholdengo, right? A deck that none of us were really looking out for, right? We kind of had all said, you know what, this deck is not, or this tournament is not for Gholdengo. Joshua's still using Mega Lopunny as best as possible, right? And that's kind of the alternate win conditions that you're seeing in a deck like Gholdengo, but let's check the replay. Or no, let's go to us. Okay, you guys tripped me up here. It's just how well Joshua knows the deck, right? And being able to play around the Toedscruel. A lot of people would see a matchup like that and, you know, maybe even write it off, not even try, but Joshua had the right idea, moving around like a Mega Lopunny to get going.
You really just have to maneuver around that Toedscruel basically the entire match, and Joshua able to do it for the most part, but just ran out of energies towards the end of games 2 and game 3 there. Now, Liam, when does the story end?
Never.
Right? Already has the world's invite from the very first regional that we had for our 2026 season, then got 2nd place, then got top 4 at EUIC.
So that's two invites.
You know,
2 invites.
is going to get another invite off of the championship points. Where does it end? Where does it end?
Doesn't. It ends at San Francisco, Jeremy, when Liam Halliburton takes the whole season. That's when it ends.
That's when it ends, but it doesn't end here. Let's go ahead and bring in Pablo to help break down that match we just saw.
Thank you, Jeremy and Emily. Really intense match for sure. And as you were giving all the flowers to Liam, really amazing season so far. It's crazy what he has accomplished. Everything with Zoroark, just like Henry with Gardevoir, right? Liam is creating this legacy with Zoroark, and he's a former world champion as well already. In the seniors division. He already has that title. I'm sure he would love to continue adding to his accolades. But we had some very interesting games here where I generally think game 1, it was all about the Mega Lopunny, right? Mega Lopunny was the star of the show. But in game 2, Liam was able to, I feel, execute his game plan perfectly, right? He doesn't have like a straight up counter to Gholdengo. He doesn't even have a thick Toedscruel line that he used to play sometimes. He had a 2-1 line in the past. Now he has the single 1-1 line, but he's able to create these like perfect scenarios where he forces Josh to use a lot of energy, right? He asks Josh to expend resources, deals with the Mega Lopunny, and afterwards, with the Toedscruel established, he's in a pretty good spot to where, even though he falls behind early in the prizes, Joshua is very aggressive. If you try to go toe-to-toe against Gholdengo, it's just really hard to keep up, right? But you don't need to beat them by prize racing. You just need to make sure that they run out of ways to draw those last few prizes.
And yeah, that's really how games 2 and 3 were won by Liam. Just reestablishing that Toedscruel in game 2 was honestly the biggest moment, I think.
and the Turo, right? That Turo that Liam put back into the deck, he was really digging for it. By not being able to find it in that turn where he put it back, he actually opened himself up to a situation where if Josh finds a boss to get this KO with a low resource attack, right? He could get that KO by only discarding 2 energy with coin bonus, with Make It Rain, or even with Zoroark. Zoroark could have taken that KO as well. But because Joshua didn't find that boss's orders, Liam then picked that Zoroark up and made it left Joshua in a situation where he needed to either commit to the active Zoroark or maybe try to deal with the Toadscroll, but then that disrupts the 2-2-2 price race, right? So I think Liam played this perfectly into where he wasn't giving Joshua too many options. And as you mentioned, Jeremy, game 3 was pretty much the same, and he had it as Zoroark on top, right? So many energies in the discard pile, Zoroark attacking the resources in the hand as well. So Liam wasn't really trying to beat Gholdengo 1-to-1 in the price race. He was just making sure that Joshua would eventually just run out of enough resources, enough energy, thanks to the help of Toadscroll, in order to close out the game.
Yeah, we actually saw it both games that Liam won with that Zoroark Machinations. It really is for this matchup, and Liam showing why.
Yeah, really amazing execution by Liam. When I first saw his list, I saw that he had not played against Gholdengo yet. I honestly wasn't too hopeful that Liam would be actually able to pull this one out, but once the action started, once his actions, like you see the purpose behind his actions and the planning and the thought process, I'm generally very excited to see what else Liam can produce for us in this tournament.
Well, I appreciate you once again, Pablo. Only a couple more times we'll see you until we crown our champion. But that does it for our asymmetrical top cut. We are now moving into our top 8. People are now starting to really dig down to try to become champion for the Houston Regional.
It's definitely halfway through the season at this point, Jeremy. So now the race to San Francisco definitely starting to gear up. These championship points matter so much, but also why not just book the invite right here, right now by becoming the Houston Regional Champion.
And don't go anywhere. Top 8 is coming up soon.
Every Pokemon trainer has one dream: to rock the crowd like Jacob Van Wagner, to shock the world like Shintaro Ito, or to topple the very best like Vance Kelly. And each year, there comes one stage big enough to etch your name into the Hall of Fame, the Pokemon World Championships. Over 1,400 TCG